Good day, sir. I am Andrea Munsad, a second-year student from Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English. And this will be my video for the first question, are you an ethical person? For the final requirements of the course ethics section F1. Morality and ethics have been a large part of my life during my time as a student and child, learning how to live ethically from the people I look up to, and through my time as a future educator, focusing on bringing ethics into my practice. There have been many instances in my life where I have had to make ethical choices, and because of this, I have grown into a more moral person. Both positive moral decisions and moments where I have let my ethics dissipate because of a situation have allowed me to define my moral code. Society and their values also have had a very large impact on how I have developed as an ethical human, and have been a big reason as to why I have broken some of my ethical barriers. I have had many struggles approaching moral dilemmas because I do have a tendency to avoid confrontation and conflict. In my role as a future educator and coach, I have had more of an opportunity to impact my students and players ethically, and because of this, I have had an opportunity to learn a great deal about my morals. I was initially brought up with a strong focus on ethics in my life because it was a focus for my parents. Even from a young age, my parents had a focus on making sure I knew the difference between right and wrong. There are multiple incidents that I remember where I had to deal with ethical dilemmas. During my youth and through the use of my parents' teachings, I was able to navigate adolescence with a strong moral compass. One incident that has really stood out to me as defining a piece of my morality. I was playing in a concrete compound at elementary school when one student hit another student with a rock. Being in grade 4, I decided to confront my peer and ended hitting him with a stick I had. This devolved into a fight and caused me to have a bruise in my arm for the next while. Thinking back on this from an ethical standpoint is very interesting. However, because although my parents and supervising teacher told me that I did the right thing by standing up for the other student, I would argue now that I did not properly deal with the situation. Allowing a situation to devolve into physical violence can cause an ethical dilemma for many because it brings in the issue of self-preservation against the preservation of another. In this situation, the biggest issue that I dealt with was that I used violence to try and solve the problem rather than trying to talk to the aggressor first or going to get a teacher. The way that I dealt with a conflict was obviously not ideal, thinking back on it, but it does bring up an interesting moral question, which I still think about at times today. The question is, can acting violently towards another person in a situation where a life is not in danger be considered ethical, or is the inclusion of violence automatically unethical? I believe personally that using violence in a situation such as the one that I found myself in can be justified if the other person is acting in a violent manner to a third party. This moral change came about for me because of my experiences growing up, and through the people I know and look up to, as well as through looking back on times where I may have acted in an immoral fashion. Although this has been a brief summary of significant events in my life that have shaped my morality, I believe it gives insight into who I am as an ethical being. Have definitely had lapses in the ethical structure of my life, but through the use of self-reflection on my mistakes, I believe I have made a majority of my choices with a sense of morality in mind. Overall, I hope to continue growing my morality and my ability to stand up for my ethics. Moving into the career of being teacher, I believe that I should have my morality more firm than ever because there will be many new situations which challenge my ethics and cause me to reassess how I should be conducting myself. Thank you.